The big story this week has no doubt been the story of Rose Muhando. To be more specific, concerning the Tanzanian songbird's visit to a church in Nairobi and the resultant video, which has been circulating widely on social media, of her being exorcised of demons. And what has really caught the attention of Kenyans, is the fact that folks can hardly believe that this indeed is Rose Muhando. Actually it is, and we're going to take a very deep look into the career of this musician and try to unearth or discover what really happened here. Remove demons from somebody who's possessed by them? And if the answer is yes, how is it usually done? We will answer these questions and much more. Rose Muhando was born in 1975 in a village called Dumila in the Morogoro area, Tanzania. And she was born to a Muslim family. But at the age of 6, she contracted a mysterious disease, which caused her skin to peel, and she had a swelling on her head, which removed pus that smelled very badly. This mysterious disease did not respond to medicine, and so her parents took her to witch doctors. Several witch doctors later, she was still not well. So at some point, they all gave up, including Rose Muhando. She had been bedridden for 3 years. So she lay in bed inside the small grass-thatched house, which she called home, and waited to die. Her family were outside, also waiting for what they knew was the inevitable. But obviously, Almighty God had other plans. Because what happened next, she was miraculously and completely healed. Now, according to Rose Muhando's own account, this is what happened. She suddenly saw a very bright light, and a voice told her, "I am Jesus. I have healed you. Wake up and go and serve me." Now you can imagine somebody who has been bedridden for 3 years, somebody who needs assistance to go everywhere and anywhere, suddenly running out of the house, shouting that they're healed. Her family were completely shocked. And at that tender age, she decided to obey the voice she had heard, and she instantly converted from being a Muslim into a Christian. Now, usually, when somebody is called in this manner, they struggle to find out exactly what they've been called to do. And Rose Muhando was no exception. She loved to sing, so obviously she was in the church choir, and she rose up to be the choir teacher of the church choir in Dodoma. But I have unconfirmed reports that she even tried to be an evangelist before she found her true calling in music. Now, this is hardly surprising because if you know what was happening in the 70s and 80s, music was not looked at as a serious calling. It was not looked at as a serious ministry. But later, that changed very quickly. And the star of Rose Muhando rose rapidly, pointing directly at the sky like a rocket. Sample this. By 2017, Rose Muhando had sold 30 million copies worldwide of her album, Jina la Yesu ni Fimbo. In Kenya, her hit song, Jipange Sawa Sawa, and Nibebe became literary anthems at every Christian gathering, but even in bars. Everybody loved her singing style, but especially her energetic dancing. And one of the reasons why she was so successful is her music cut right across age groups. The young were captivated by her energetic dance moves, while the older generation were captured by the messages in her songs. Now, things started going wrong for Rose Muhando when she decided to ditch some of her support team, including her manager. Musicians have squabbles, sometimes very serious ones, with their managers all the time. And sometimes the parting can be very stormy. In the West, it often ends up in courtrooms, with lawsuits and counter lawsuits. In Africa, other more crude methods are used, like smear campaigns and witchcraft. You see, a manager is what makes everything happen. A manager is in charge of promoting a musician, and if you have a good manager and promoter, you will go places. However, the truth is, many times managers and promoters start confusing themselves for God. And they start believing their own propaganda that without them, the musician would have gone absolutely nowhere. This is not always true. Indeed, most of the times it is not true. Because it all starts with the talent of the artist. There's always been allegations and counter-allegations going on between Rose Muhando and the support staff she ditched. And we shall not dwell on that. However, I find it very interesting and indeed instructive that her former manager is now very aggressively promoting another female artist. And this female artist is very similar to Rose Muhando, and indeed is being marketed as the new Rose Muhando. Now, Miss Muhando is a single mother. She's the mother of 3 children. And she's on record as having said she would never get married, because she would devote her whole life to Jesus, and her faith. However, in 2015, she mysteriously got pregnant, and she lost that baby in December of that year, December 2015. Now, there are all kinds of very alarming stories that appeared in the Tanzanian media after this incident. Some sections of the media claimed that what Rose Muhando had done is that she had actually aborted her baby. They sensationally claimed that she was even briefly arrested by the police. Abortion, illegal abortion, is a criminal offense in many African countries, including Tanzania and even here in Kenya. However, Rose Muhando vehemently denied that she had aborted, but she admitted that she lost the pregnancy when it was 7 months. But the floodgates of controversy surrounding this talented Tanzanian songbird did not stop there. Indeed, the floodgates opened, and already by this time, her singing career had taken a nosedive. Her fans had not heard from her for a very long time. And the rumors continued to fly, which to me looked like a smear campaign. A very deliberate one by somebody who wanted to finish off her career. That should be very clear if you look at the facts carefully. But it is also true that Rose Muhando had her own issues. You see, if you're a gospel musician, your fans hold you in very high esteem. They don't expect the same things they hear from secular musicians and performers to be heard about you. For instance, stories emerged that Rose Muhando had tried very vigorously to bleach her skin and become lighter. Now, this craze of lightening the skin is a very big thing in this part of the world. I've talked about it several times on this channel. African women are convinced that it is not possible to be beautiful if you're black. You need to be as fair-skinned, if possible as white as possible. Now, for a secular musician, that may not be such a big deal. But for somebody singing gospel music, it's a very, very big deal. Because, and this is the truth, what you're trying to do is make adjustments to God's handiwork. And the wise will know that never ends well. I look at my older female relatives and there's a disaster on their faces, as a result of trying to lighten their skins in their younger days. Anyway, things started really going south for Rose Muhando on January 19th, 2016. While returning home at night and at the gate of her house, she was bitten by a very huge snake, which disappeared and slithered into the night. She was rushed to hospital and treated. But her problems mounted. She started having huge health challenges. She developed rashes and burns on her body. At one point, it is said that Rose Muhando threatened to leave Christianity and go back to what she called her religion, Islam. Rose is quoted as having said that when she got born again, she was promised a lot of love in the Christian church. But what she got instead, according to Rose, is a lot of backbiting and false rumors and people failing to stand with her like a sister, people failing to show her love. Now the truth is, today, the great Rose Muhando is sick and broke. And for somebody who sold 30 million copies worldwide of one album, that is a bit strange, her being broke. Indeed, in February 2011, she signed a multi-million shilling deal with the Sony album, a recording deal. That deal made history because it was the first such deal Sony had done in the entire region. For any level-headed musician, that would have meant that she'd have been set for life. But it didn't quite work out like that. And when you also put in all the strange things that have been happening in her life, there is only one conclusion we can come to. Rose Muhando's problem is spiritual. It's not a medical problem. Many have suggested she just needs to get medical treatment, maybe even overseas, in India or somewhere in the United States. I don't agree. In my humble view, what she needs to do is to get her spiritual house in order. She needs to make some firm decisions, because for somebody who says that she wants to go back to her religion, she first of all needs to decide where she truly belongs. Because in these spiritual matters, you cannot be double-minded. When you are, you leave yourself very vulnerable for all kinds of attacks. It is also very important to note that a snake does not just bite you at the gate of your house. Snakes are widely used in witchcraft. And even the ailment she has now that does not respond to medicine is spiritual. It suggests some kind of witchcraft attack. But having said that, I have a very strong feeling that Rose Muhando's healing is here. It is in the horizon. Because God is not limited. And if she was truly called, she'll be healed and she'll return to her ministry. And a lot of the crucial decisions are with her. The healing is within her. She has to decide where she stands, and especially in relation to the person she says called her, or rather the mighty power that called her into a ministry. Now, a lot of people are saying that the videos circulating on social media, of demons being removed from her, by a Kenyan pastor, was stage managed. Now, it is very dangerous to comment, especially when you want to comment very authoritatively over spiritual matters, and yet you do not have the authority to do so. And I'm talking about such spiritual matters as somebody being prayed over for healing. And actually, there's absolutely no need to have such a debate, because there's a very simple test. And the test is to wait and see the results of that prayer. And this test only requires two questions. Number one, is she healed? Completely healed? Number two, is she going to return to her music ministry? That is really all it is. And the person praying over you, is not very important. The truth is, God is not limited. God can use anybody. When God had rejected Eli, in the Bible, he spoke directly to Samuel. But it was the rejected Eli who guided young Samuel on how to listen to the voice of Almighty God. Even though Eli had already been rejected, God still used him to raise one of the greatest prophets Israel ever saw. So my point in the case of Rose Muhando is that spiritual things don't work very well with casual judgments, casual human judgments and opinions. I also believe that this Rose Muhando case coming to the forefront is God speaking to the people of East Africa. Almighty God wants to show us something. And even if you already have an idea of what it is, this will become clearer in the days and weeks to come. It will become so clear that it will be impossible to miss. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.